You know, the Indian Premier League auction, it always delivers the drama. But the 2026 auction, it gave us a story that has the entire cricket world buzzing. The big news wasn't just about a superstar, but a young, kind of unknown player who went for a truly mind-blowing price. So, okay, let's get right into it. Who is Kartik Sharma, and why did he just become one of the most talked about teenagers in sports? Let's just start with the number. The one that made everyone stop what they were doing and pay attention. 14.2 crore rupees. That's the massive sum that the Chennai Super Kings forked out to get him. A number like that changes everything, not just a career, but a life. Especially for a guy most fans had never even heard of before the auction started. And here's the kicker, right? The little detail that makes this price so absolutely wild. He's what they call an uncapped player. At just 19 years old, he has never played a senior international match for Team India. So what that means is, a team is betting the house on pure, raw potential. So this all leads to the big questions we're going to unpack here. Who is this young talent from Rajasthan? And what on earth did the super smart scouts at Chennai Super Kings see that made them go, yep, he's our guy, and make him one of the most expensive players of the entire year? Let's break it all down. Okay, first things first, we've got to look at how the auction itself played out, because this wasn't just a high bid. It was a historic moment that tells you a whole lot about the strategy, the rivalry, and the insane money involved in the modern IPL. So here's the scene on December 16th. He walks in with a pretty modest base price, just 30 lakh rupees. What happened next was a flat-out bidding war. The paddles just kept going up and up and up, mostly between Chennai Super Kings and the Kolkata Knight Riders. In just a few wild minutes, his price skyrocketed to that massive 14.20 crore. That's an increase of nearly 47 times his starting price. And to really get how huge this is, that price tag puts Kartik Sharma in some seriously rare air. He is now the joint most expensive uncapped player ever bought in the entire history of the IPL auction. This isn't just a big deal for 2026, it's a record-setting bet on a young talent. Okay, so that's the what. Now let's get to the who. To really understand the player, we have to go back to his roots in Rajasthan and trace the journey that took him from just playing on local grounds to this unbelievable career-changing moment. You know, this quote from Kartik himself tells you so much about his mindset. He's not out here trying to be the next big global superstar. Nope, his inspiration was right at home. It really speaks to a grounded, focused attitude that started when he was super young. So his story kicks off when he was just a little kid, maybe 4 or 5 years old, inspired by watching his dad play. He eventually got his training at a pretty famous academy, the one run by the father of Indian international Deepak Chahar. This is a classic grassroots story, right? A kid coming up through the system, playing for his home state of Rajasthan with a ton of pride. All right, we've got the backstory. Now for the good stuff, the hard evidence. What were the on-field performances, the actual stats, that convinced two of the biggest teams in the IPL to just throw money at him? So, just so we're all on the same page, what exactly is an uncapped player? It's simple, really. It's a cricketer who hasn't played a senior international match for their country yet. That's it. So the teams are betting big on pure, raw talent. Now check this out, because this is where his story gets really impressive. The young man knows how to make an entrance. In the 2024-25 season, he scores a century on his debut in the Ranji Trophy. Then, and this is incredible, he does it again, scoring a century on his List A or 50-over debut. To make a massive impact in your very first match in 2 different formats, yeah, that gets every scout's attention. Let's just park on that first-class debut for a second. A blistering 113 runs off just 115 balls. This wasn't some quiet, carefully built century. No way. This was an aggressive, here I am kind of innings. It showed he has the technique, for sure, but also the guts for the big leagues. And he backed it up in the 50-over game with even more fireworks. 123 runs off a measly 90 balls. This innings was just pure destruction. I mean, this tells you he doesn't just score runs, he scores them at a ridiculous pace. And look, this wasn't just a couple of lucky games. Across that whole tournament, he was Rajasthan's main guy. But the 2 numbers to really zero in on here are the average of over 55, which shows he's super consistent, and that strike rate of 118, which tells you he scores his runs fast. That's the combination everybody wants. But for the IPL, this is the number that truly matters. a T20 strike rate of almost 163. In today's game, that is absolutely elite. It signals that he is a genuine power hitter, perfectly built for the fast and explosive world of the IPL. This is the stat that screams match winner. So, okay, the kid's a phenom, we get it. But why CSK? Let's flip the script now and look at the team's strategy. Why did they see Kartik Sharma as the one guy they absolutely had to have, no matter the cost?
Well, this wasn't an impulse buy. Not at all. This was a plan, executed perfectly. Step 1, CSK knew what they needed, a young Indian power hitter. Step 2, they did their homework, having him at multiple scouting camps. Step 3, they got the thumbs up from respected experts. And then Step 4, they went in and got their man.
And what a perfect way to describe him from one of cricket's sharpest minds, R. Ashwin, a baggage-free power hitter. What he means is, he's young, he's fearless, and he isn't carrying the pressure or the history of a more established star. He's a blank canvas you can build around. This move is classic CSK. It fits right into their playbook. They have a long history of finding young talent, bringing them into a stable, low-pressure environment, giving them a clear role, and just letting them develop. I mean, you only have to look at their current captain, Ruturaj Gaikwad, for the best example of their system working. They don't see Sharma as a one-season rental. They see him as a long-term investment.
So, with the auction over and the historic contract signed, all eyes turn to the future. What can we expect from Kartik Sharma when he finally pulls on that famous yellow jersey for the Chennai Super Kings?
Well, he's walking into one of the best and most successful franchises in T20 history. That means he's going to get an incredible opportunity to learn from legends like MS Dhoni and his captain, Ruturaj Gaikwad. But of course, with a 14.2 crore price tag comes massive expectations. He'll likely be thrown right into a crucial role in the middle order, either as a stabilizer or as an explosive finisher.
So after breaking it all down, the numbers, the undeniable talent, and the team's clear strategy, we're left with this one exciting question. With his raw power, his fearless attitude, and the best mentors in the business, does Kartik Sharma have what it takes to live up to the massive hype and become Chennai's next great finisher? The only way to find out is to watch.